Hope you guys are ready. It's end of season review. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Turmoil at Tranmere with me, GWFM. We're on the final episode of season 3, so episode 14. And yeah, end of season review time. So let's just get into it, shall we? But before we get into anything, we've got the question of the day, and that is, without cheating, who do you think won the Premier League in this year? Let us know in the comments below. So basically, what we're looking at is the last 4 games that we did, or last 3 games. You joined us last time, it was the Bradford City game. Played youngsters. We played youngsters all the way to the end of the season with the exception of 1 or 2 players. We drew as next game against Peterborough 2-2. It was disappointing though because we were 2-0 up and they went down to 10 men and ended up drawing with us 2-2, which was a bit disappointing. I was very pleased for the guys that scored. Then we lost 3-1 at home against Charlton, and followed by, well, that included, by the way, a fail of the week, you'll see it soon, and a 2-1 loss again, last game of the season, against Blackpool, who were already relegated. So it shows that the kids obviously aren't ready yet, but that's because they're all young, 15, 16 year old. But the future definitely looks bright, especially if they've been able to win a trophy, which is what happened this season. Now, I've got the list, not quite as long as the last list, but I've got quite a few. Let's get into it, shall we? The first thing I want to look at after this is our league table. Let's go all in its full glory. And there we go. Portsmouth went up as champions, Blackburn Rovers in second, Oxford in third via the playoffs. Northampton got beat, obviously, in the final as well. And yeah, it was very tight at the top, really. Any team from, like, you know, probably the top 6 could have got into the automatic spots. And to some degree, the title as well. It wasn't a massive points tally difference from the ones that didn't get promoted. Going down, leaving us next season are Gillingham, Stevenage, Blackpool and AFC Wimbledon. We, of course, finished 15th because we had nothing to play for, nothing to worry about. That's why I played all the youngsters. But I reckon realistically we could have probably finished about 10th. But that's the best we could have hoped for, I think, based on what happened. But yeah, so sad to see them go. Not really. Let's have a look now at all the detail of exactly what's been going on. So overall average possession, we were 6th. Wasn't the best, to be fair, but I did change it up. I did used to play a possession-based tactic. It's not as much now, playing mixed passing and whatever. I change it like situationally, so that's a little bit disappointing, but it's still pretty decent in the whole scheme of things. Let's look at the other key things. Crosses completed is an interesting one. We completed the most by 1 ahead of Blackburn, so it shows that we are completing as crosses, so that's decent. Shots on target ratio, 43%, top of the list again. So why aren't we scoring as many goals? Let's have a look at goals. We were 15th, or joint 14th. Scored 63 goals. I bet we did have to change halfway through the season as tactic, but yeah, a bit disappointed with that really. But the thing is, we're creating chances and shooting to keeper, looks of things. Clean sheets, we only had 10 all season, so 10 out of 46 games is not amazing, is it, to be fair? Then look, just moving on, we're going to go to the attendance, and we're right middle ground basically. Averaging about 8,500. Stadium was about 15, I think it was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's hopefully that'll build and increase as seasons go on. We are moving to a new stadium as well, but which apparently we should make it. It's going to cost a lot of money to do. It'll help with the running costs, so there is that to think about. Highest attendance for us was 16,303. That's what we always. We've been running about 50% capacity. But yeah, that's our highest attendance. And then lastly, on the last 2, net transfer spend, get your words out, G. Finished 13th, 0. Basically, salary is nearly 1.7 million. It's a lot higher than others, but if we go to salary per annum, we are down near the bottom. Only Blackpool and Stevenage, they both went down as well, by the way. They paid less than us. Everyone else, I mean, look at the top. Sheffield United, who finished 10th, 11.5 million they spent a year, and you know they had the likes of Andy Carroll and Chris Brunt join them in the summer as well. So that's crazy paving. So now we're going to go into the top performers, basically, etc., etc. Really quickly though. So top app makers: Sessignon. We'll not include Simmons in this. Gribbin, Clegg, Cousins, and Lewis. So they're the ones who seem to feature the most. Goal scorers, top goal scorers, Callum Gribbin from midfield got 14. Shrek got 12 in like half the time it was played up front. He's done well, to be fair, to say that he's got 5 pace and what have you. But yeah, the Gun Show got 11, Lavatory got 11, that's a decent return from him, and 7 from Jack Dunn, which is surprising actually. I thought there'd be other people. Alabi didn't feature that much, got 5 goals, but 3 of them were in the cup against lower league opposition, so I'm not reading too much into that. Assists, of course, was dominated by Callum Gribbin with 14. Interesting that Cameron Berry got 14 assists. He's out of contract in the summer. I may sign him on for another year just to see how if he develops any further. He's only got 3-star potential though, but for this league that might be alright. Devon Green got 7, and I've got him highlighted here because I want to have a hallelujah moment, if you will. And yeah, 8 for long shots and 8 in the technicals for the first time in this entire save. It's only taken you 3 years, pal. Shrek got 6, and Emil Smith-Rowe got 5 joint with Jack Dunn. So I'm quite pleased with that. And then average rating, the big one. Connor Kirby did well when he played. He only played 2 games, but I just didn't think he was good enough. I don't know why. I thought I brought other players in, and I was trying to stop using the all loanees because obviously too many loanees in this side. But Callum Gribbin, the main one, 7.43. Rian Bruce got 7.8 in his short time here. Shrek got 7.5 or 0.5, should I say. Malumbi got 7.04, and then Alex Cairns, like I said, 7.02. Very expensive, out of contract in the summer. I'm going to see if I can get him on a contract. If it's equal or less, I will sign him on. If he's wanting more money, then I'm going to have to go for someone else. He's quite injury prone though, I've found. He has missed quite a bit of the season, so that's the things to think about. Key passes, Callum Gribbin, of course, the leader, with Shrek, Dunn, Malumbi and Devon Green behind him. Key headers has to be defenders, surely. Jack Elliott, Clegg, Lennon, and Sessignon. Sessignon on the right back. And Steve Ward, when he did play for us, 16 games in all for us. Yeah, very happy with his contribution as well. Key tackles, yeah, again, largely defenders, to be expected. But the biggie is expiring contracts. Scott Davis is out of contract. Jermaine Grandison, all these players, I don't think I'm going to keep on. Buxton, even Dunn, Isaac Christie Davis, he's out of contract. Like I say, Cameron Berry, because of his assists, I'm tempted to keep him on. It was at a lower level, by the way, but Rian Brewster, he's on loan. I don't know if I can get him. I don't know if he's staying next season, but I'll try and get him. I think it did make a difference, it has to be said. The Gun Show, he's going to be going. Cairns is going. Devante Jacobs is a long termer. He's going to be going, but Cairns probably isn't. Like I said, it depends. These 3 loanees are definitely going to be going. Jack Elliott is already going because it was out of our hands, and obviously I'm going to be letting Raul Correa go, unfortunately. Shrek is here for another year, of course. He's probably going to end up taking over the captaincy, because why the hell wouldn't you at this stage? And yeah, there's going to be a lot of players leave. I'm going to have a lot of players still here, of course, and we might look to bring in a couple of the youngsters and get them some games. I'll have to wait and see. What this does mean is we had the Player of the Season awards, and for our own personal ones, Callum Gribbin, obviously, landslide victory, 77%. That's probably the highest rating since they've started implementing this into any of the FMs. That's the highest I've actually seen. Jason Malumbi was 2nd, which is probably a good choice, to be fair. And Jack Dunn, 3rd, surprisingly. Rian Brewster got the goal of the season. We'll have a look at after everything else. Sign of the season, of course, was Alex Cairns. He was the only one that we signed for money. And Callum Gribbin got the young player of the season. So he swept it, basically. Let's have a look at Rian Brewster's goal. So this is what happened. Shrek kicked it without even moving his leg. And then Brewster smashes it from distance, I believe. Yes, there it is. It wasn't that good, in my opinion. But it was good enough to win it, basically. So, fair enough. Looking at the stats, you can see there, top goal scorer, as we mentioned, goals for goals was Callum Gribbin, highest average rating Gribbin, most assists Gribbin. Pass completion was Jordan Cousins, he did really well. Unsung hero, I think. Callum Gribbin, most player of the matches with 7, assisting on most yellow cards, and Harry Lennon and Buxton getting a red card apiece. So, yeah, overall that's pretty good. But also, as well, just to show you, Callum Gribbin did get the best overall rating, and I don't think it's actually been drawn. Actually, I have to mention that on the next episode, whether he actually won the Player of the Year. In fact, I might be able to play it when it. Have a look now. And I've just moved on a day, and he hasn't won it. This guy, Milan Lalkovic, I'm calling absolute bullshit. Let's have a look and see exactly how he did. 8 goals, 12 assists, 7.18 rating. Player of the matches, 3. Is it me, is this game broken? Because 7 man of the matches, the best overall average rating, more goals than him and assists than him, and appearances as well to boot, and he's not won the player of the season. What I gotta do to win an award? That's what Gribben's singing. So finances are looking pretty healthy. We just got us payout about 788,000, and we had paid 400 of it or so to the players. A couple of things to mention here is obviously it's a $750,000 that we're on. We've got a transfer budget of 660 grand, and then like an extra 10 grand I think it is on wages. It might actually be you're currently spending so it's something like that. But I'll probably end up transferring some of this into the wages budget because I don't know because I don't know who I'm going to find, who I'm going to be paying that sort of money out for. I mean, maybe I will be able to find someone. Now I'm more established in this division. We'll have to wait and see, but that's definitely something to think about. Just going to have a quick look at the income. You can see everything that happened over the whole time I've been here, basically. Big spikes, that's when Clegg got sold, then we obviously loaned him back. We've got a bit more money here. Hopefully we're not going to sell anyone. There's 1 or 2 players that are wanted, who, depends if they're coming with a reasonable enough offer, that I'll let them go. But hopefully we won't need to keep relying on selling players. Obviously we're still in the black. I'd like it to go up instead of go down all the time, but obviously you've got to be successful and get the gate receipts in more than anything. So that is something to think about. Have a look at the expenditure, and you can see where we spend up most of his money. 1.5 million apparently we spent this month, which is very, very interesting indeed. Wages, of course, well, not really going to go into that. Financial fair play, there's no issues here. We did get a tax. We got taxed basically for how much we spent or how much we made or something. So that was a bit of a pain. I think it was about 200 grand, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we've got a loan here that's going to be going into for another 5 years at £21,000 a month. It's not a massive amount, but obviously we could do it to get rid of it. Bit of a pain. Sponsors, of course, here's what we're getting in for all our sponsors. It's a decent amount, really. It probably adds up to about $1 million-ish, thereabouts. Probably a little bit more, actually. Look on the face of it. So, and then projection, it's saying we're going to be $1 million in debt in the next couple of years. So, I don't know how much to read into this because like a few other YouTubers have mentioned it, saying you can't even rely on this because things change all the time. All your players might leave who are on high wages, might replace them with less wages or whatever. But we'll have to wait and see anyway. But by all means, pause at any point through any of those sections. With his money being at a decent amount, I asked about improving the data analysis facilities because I thought, why the hell not? I might as well. And it costs like 10 grand to do, so they're expecting to do it. It'll be done. In fact, it's already done. Oh, it's planning, completion. It was done in 2 weeks apparently, but it says planning. So the planning might be done, but everything else. This is everything we've done all this time. Still improving his youth facilities, which will be completed in November. So I'm looking forward to that because it'll hopefully help progress the youngsters. Before they make it into the first team training or whatever. I do want to try and improve our training facilities if I can, but it's even when we're on about £1 million, they said the financial situation wasn't good enough, so I'll have to wait and see if I can get some more money before that happens. One thing I did forget to mention is Adam Lewis has got a contract. I've offered him one. It's still got some potential. This is the first time I've seen any red on him for a long time, but he's still staying on as a hot prospect, so I can still keep getting him to get that determination even higher and all the way up. One thing I do like is even the players that come through with low determination, etc., you can actually tutor them with balanced. You've got to do it in stages. Balanced, and then you can go to fairly determined and etc. You can change it up. I think it's really, really good how you can do that. So, because I wasn't sure, because I tried using like a resolute person to tutor someone who was low determination, it didn't really do anything. It just like went to 5. Like the determination went as high as what it probably could do for that personality trait. So I'm glad to sort that out anyway, or figure it out. So some other news is that West Brom came in for us, and basically it was a press conference. I had said no. As a result, Tranmere delighted with FM. So fantastic. As I've said many times before, it's Turmoil at Tranmere, not Turmoil at West Brom. So there we go. And a good thing about it, I mean, obviously we lost his last 5 games, we drew one and lost the others. Dressing room atmosphere is a bit poor, but match cohesion and managerial support is fantastic. If you look at the hierarchy, and click on me, 25 people support me, 4 have no opinion on me, none oppose me, so that's fantastic for us. Just quickly have a look at us, and we look pretty much the same as last time you saw us, but I think it's because I've got myself, if I go to the training really quickly, and go to coaches, you can see here, you've got me doing absolutely everything, so I'm learning everything. I think that's what happens, because I had it with just like certain attributes, and nothing else was going up. And I suppose it's because you're not doing it. So therefore, I tried it just to see if it made a difference. It does seem to make a difference. Well, I found anyway. I don't know if it's true or not, but I found that it seems to be the case. On staff, I'm getting a new head of youth development. That Finnish guy, Piston or whatever he's called, he's out of contract in the summer. Everyone else that was out of contract, I'm keeping him on for another 2 years. But this guy looks, even though he's working with youngsters, he's only 15 as opposed to 20. His coaching stats are good, and his judging player ability and potential are pretty good as well. So not as good as in terms of potential, but his current ability. So I'm hoping that might bring them in at a better level to start off with, if that makes sense. That's the plan anyway. So I'm looking forward. Obviously, he's got yet to accept terms, but I'm very hopeful that he will do. And that is about it, I think. Now, before we go any further, I asked right at the beginning, who do you think won the Premier League? And obviously, I hope you didn't cheat, because that's what I was hoping this was going to achieve, is that you beat a guess and see who won the Premier League. So we'll start at the back. I've added the North and South leagues now, so we can have a look at who's gone up and who's gone down in that. So I'll see you in a sec. So starting with the Vanarama National League South, it looks like Billericay. I can never say it. I don't know why. Billericay. They're going up as champions, of course. My mate Martino Got Game has got a save with them. You should check it out. He's a top lad as well. And going up with them is working. Looks like they've gone up via the playoffs. And then you've got Western Supermare, Chippenham and Salisbury dropping out of the division. Going on to the north, and Harrogate Town are going into the Vanarama National League again, I think. I don't know if they've been relegated before. But Macclesfield are joining them. They finished 5th out of all the teams that finished in the playoffs. And yeah, they're going to be joining them as well. Bradford Park Avenue and Leamington and North Ferriby. So 2 Yorkshire sides dropping out into obscurity in this game, basically. And we're into the Vanarama National League, and Sutton are going into the Football League, I think for the first time in history, correct me if I'm wrong. And Maidstone are joining them again. I don't know if that is first time in the history, I'm not sure. I think they might have been in like the early 90s, 80s, 90s, something like that. But yeah, they beat Barrow in the final to get into the promotion, get into the Football League. Torquay, and obviously our feeder club, finished 10th, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on next season with probably a few more loanees from ourselves. Kettering, we had a couple of loanees, they finished rock bottom, and as a result, they're probably going to get let go, in my opinion. Well, it is in my opinion. It's probably what I'm thinking is going to happen. Anyway, into League 2. So joining us next season, we have Rochdale, Coventry City, Doncaster Rovers, and Colchester, who I believe beat Lincoln in the final. Wickham and Newport County drop out of the Football League. Newport County, we had some bad games against them in recent history. And before we get to the big one, we've got the Skybet Championship, and you can see Huddersfield Town went up as champions, with Sunderland going up with them, surprisingly, in my opinion. And then Wolves via the playoffs going through into the Premier League. On a side note, Leeds finished 10th because obviously it's a team I support. Disgusting results. This is the same day that got beat 4-1 at home against Cardiff. Disgusting. Barnsley, Burton and MK Dons are coming down to join us. So yeah, that's going to be a couple of tough games there. I reckon MK Dons probably the weakest of the three, I would imagine. Barnsley, I reckon, are going to be tough. They're going to be good next season, aren't they? They've got like a sugar daddy, haven't they? Jammy bastards. But now for the big one. Now, if you said Manchester United, then if you're like me, you'd be gutted. But well done. But if you said any of the others, I'm guessing you would have gone for probably the top 6. Unfortunately, you didn't. You wouldn't have won the Pride Award. Let's go with that. Southampton, our team that are in our affiliate, have got into Europe, so that's pretty decent by their standards. Derby, Palace and Preston come down. Not surprisingly, Preston, I think, more than anything. Burnley struggling. They're doing well in real life. But yeah, of the promoted sides that went up last season, Preston, I believe, went up and Derby went up, and I can't remember who the other one. I think it was Watford. So I think they stayed up and did well. So that is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it's filled in with some much needed knowledge of the save. Probably not, but yeah, hopefully we can build on this. Obviously we're finished in 15th and we need to progress. We need to, move on to the next stage, and if that means getting to the playoffs first, and seeing if it's a lottery in it really. If we don't go up, then we build on to go up as champions. It's not going to be easy. We need to make sure that when we go up, we're going to be set to be able to not do a Blackpool, so to speak. Blackpool got to the top and then ended up going down to the bottom because they didn't plan ahead and build for the future sort of thing. They had consecutive sort of promotions. Now a team like Bournemouth, they seem to have done well, and they've provided everything at the bottom to work up from the ground up sort of thing. So they're not in any danger of dropping down. Obviously, you get to the Premier League, you get a lot of money, but you've got to invest that money wisely. And obviously, that's why the likes of Blackpool and Leeds before that, we ended up struggling and went into obscurity. However, getting to the Premier League, you get relegated, you get a load of money for the next couple of seasons, whereas Leeds didn't. So my view is that Leeds, obviously they were the one that started it all off, but we got no financial backing or anything like everyone else has gone down. So that's why it boggles me that teams like, for instance, Blackpool have been how they have. And I think to some degree Bolton, because apparently they're struggling as well financially. So anyway, we'll go on to the next season. There might be a little bit of a gap because it's going to take ages to get to that stage and have all the friendlies and everything like that. But hopefully you'll join us regardless. And until then, I will see you then. Bye-bye.